You have censorship in the US, it's just for sale. What's this?
You know, I thought about doing this. I went back and...
Okay. I don't know what this is going to be, but I find it to be interesting. He's in China. Yeah, I'm actually really curious to hear what he's going to say.
You know, I thought about doing this. I went back and forth on it. I had my doubts, but it. Let's do it. Okay. Using the internet without using a VPN is like walking down the street with all of your personal information written right on your shirt.
True.
A VPN takes your internet connection and it hides it from the rest of the world. So you can go on public Wi-Fi or even your own internet knowing that you're completely safe. Surfshark is the best VPN out there. What can I tell you about Surfshark? Well, it's fast and easy to use as you connect to a server that offers the best speed by default. What you can actually do is hop around to different countries and even open up different Netflix or streaming libraries based on what that country shows. People at Surfshark care about your security so much that they created a VPN app that secures your data with industry-leading measures by using uncrackable encryption and the most secure VPN protocols. It provides IP and DNS leak protection so that nobody can find where you're connecting from. As a world traveler, you might use Surfshark VPN to overcome location-based price discrimination on plane tickets and car rentals by connecting to VPN servers in different countries. Go to surfshark.com/Lawai86 to get 4 extra months. That's surfshark.com/Lawai86 to protect your online...
Somebody says, I'm surprised these companies haven't been sued for something straight up advertising breaking copyright law by using regional streaming services. I am too. I feel like it's kind of an exploit, isn't it?
Privacy today.
Yeah.
I'm one of the first China YouTubers. I lived in China for a decade. I learned Chinese, I bought a house, I settled down, I rode for years on a motorcycle with my buddy Serpent ZA across the entire country, exploring and uncovering the China that you don't get to see on China's propaganda. I even made 2 TV shows about it.
Wow.
Well, let's just say things took a dark turn politically and I fled China with my family and decided to speak out against the Chinese government because of what I had been witnessing.
Well, yeah. I mean, is this a surprise? How's this not a surprise to anybody?
In that time, my audience grew.
Yeah.
And so did my sense of justice. I covered the uprising of Hong Kongers against Beijing's takeover of their territory. I was one of the main voices who discovered the origin of COVID. I found evidence of DNA bioweapons planned by the PLA. I covered the floods that China said claimed dozens of...
I can see why they didn't like him. Yep, I can definitely see that.
lives, but actually killed countless thousands. I covered China's TikTok propaganda campaign aimed at poisoning the minds of Americans for years. I covered the student uprisings that spread across China, demanding justice before being brutally silenced. I covered the Uyghur genocide and the countless victims of China's malicious concentration camps.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yo, China's gonna ban you for watching this? You think so? Yeah, maybe.
I covered how China partnered with Russia to help with the Ukraine invasion. I covered the hacks that China committed against my country and its people. I covered the secret Chinese police stations tasked with hurting people like me in the USA. I was then attacked for speaking out. China paid people to go after me. China has tried time and time again to destroy my life and the life of my coworker. And yet I persist because the Chinese government is bad. It's just bad. It's what I believe to be the single worst force on Earth today. Now here's the deal. I have 180 million views.
That's a lot.
I have 1 million subscribers.
That's a lot.
I am one of the biggest voices that speaks out against the Chinese government. And I am one of the biggest voices in regards to China on the English-speaking internet, period. I have a very amazing audience that believes in right and wrong. I get views on my content because you deserve to see what's really happening behind what China's trying to cover up.
Yeah, but I hope you're not living in China and doing that. Seems like a big fucking mistake. I mean, a lot of places in the world don't take as kindly than, you know, a lot of United States countries, or not countries, yeah, it's Western countries, that, what do you call it? That are doing this.
This isn't about me.
He fled. Yeah, exactly.
This is about the future of our world.
Okay.
This is the future of our freedom. This is the future freedom of Chinese people.
I do think this is a very big component, and a lot of people aren't talking about it enough, is about how Chinese soft power and the way that they are interacting with media and producing more media for a mainstream audience, and how that media is censored and suppressed. Like, you know, for example, like Marvel Rivals chat, I think that's the best example I can come up with off the top of my head. How that soft power ends up being a suppressive device towards you know, any sort of dissent against them.
Put in the work, and I put everything on the line to tell you the truth. So maybe you can tell me why you're not seeing my videos anymore. Certainly, in a world where China is discussed more than ever, one of the biggest and most popular YouTubers would show up on your feed talking about the topic that you care enough about to watch videos about it. Right at the time of the US election, YouTube pulled the plug on my channel. The way that people get views on YouTube is YouTube actually recommends videos to them.
This is what people complain about with me.
Like when you open up your feed, you'll see a video from someone that you probably want to watch. Overnight, they stopped recommending my videos to people in my own audience. People came out en masse to tell me that they don't get recommended or notified of my videos anymore. And it all happened again right after the election. I have no idea why. My views went down by 5 to 10-fold over.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Nights. And that's not organic. YouTube likes to tell creators like myself that, oh, there's just not any interest anymore, but that doesn't happen over the span of one day. In fact, what is
happening? Election, I mean, like,
happening in my audience is that people are now getting recommended pro-Chinese government content right now. There are thousands of videos in support of the Chinese government. Uyghur genocide denial, you name it, it's out there. It's getting pushed like crazy. The Chinese government is throwing insane amounts of money at this right now.
It's so hard to know, like, from my perspective, it's so hard to know what's really happening because you just have such a massive smokescreen of misinformation by the government. And it's like there's so much suppression and like, I don't really know. It seems like they are suppressing them, and that's everything about it logically leads me to that conclusion. But it's very hard for me to say, yeah, this is exactly what's happening.
To drown out people like myself and promote pro-China content. I mean, look what happens when you search for one of my channels, China Fact Chasers.
Right.
It'll feed you a sponsored ad for a YouTube video that's being paid for to be promoted to my audience. It's not.
That to me is not a point of, that's not a data point that proves that YouTube is compromised. Because if you search for World of Warcraft gold farming, you're going to get ads for gold farming. The fact is that YouTube and Google does almost no quality control for its AdSense program. And so the amount of ads that people get are just total bullshit, fake ads, and anybody can put up an ad. And so all they're doing is looking at China, okay, China keyword, okay, this sponsored post goes there, right? That's it.
Not just travel stuff either. It's pro-Chinese government videos as well. But that doesn't paint the whole picture. It's not just because there's tons of pro-China videos that you're not seeing my videos. No, 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 no. YouTube has absolutely blacklisted me. I get the feeling that someone at YouTube probably has been tasked with blacklisting anti-CCP content and channels like mine.
That's a very big accusation. That's an extreme accusation. Okay, I mean, it's halfway through the video, but we'll go through with no evidence. Yeah, with no evidence that's been presented so far. And so we're at 6:05. Give me 1 second here. So one of the big differences that I've noticed with these videos and the comparisons that he's drawing here is that whenever he's showing these videos that have higher viewership, these videos here, these videos could be perceived in a way that is positive towards China. And I wonder what his audience demographics are, because it's very obvious that a lot of Chinese people are very patriotic, nationalistic, whichever one you want to use based off of your opinion on it. And when I look at these videos, this is a video that could be positive towards China because apparently the coup didn't work, because as far as I know, this guy's still in charge. And this right here is critical of China. And then if you compare this right here, North Korea betrayed China and China is pissed. This is, again, making China look like North Korea did something wrong, and it could be perceived as being positive towards China, whereas this one is negative towards China. And so when I compare this as well, nursing homes for young people, Chinese society is in big trouble. This is about Chinese society and improving it, whereas this right here is about China losing, right? It says China lost. So I think that there's a possibility that he could have attracted a larger Chinese audience that's more nationalistic, and they want to see somebody say positive things about China. And as he shifted his perspective away from that, that audience also shifted away from him as well. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not. I'm saying that's possible. And I think that whenever you're trying to evaluate something like this, you have to look at all of the possibilities that could happen.
Because of this. In fact, let me prove it to you. If you search China on YouTube and you use an incognito window and you even hop around to different servers on your VPN, you're going to notice something. My content doesn't come up. At all. Not once.
Man.
Not once.
How about
in
that?
500 plus results, my videos do not exist. Don't you think that one of the biggest YouTubers that covers China with over 1 million subscribers and 180 million views would come up? It's literally all I cover, and it's very relevant videos and topics that I make about China.
Let's try it right now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make an incognito tab that's on, this is on Google Chrome. I basically never use Google Chrome at all. And like I'm not logged in onto Google Chrome. This is totally a total, like I don't even think I have ad blocker. Let's take a look. This is the end. This is the end. Okay, let's see if his video pops up. Okay, his video doesn't pop up, but I think a big reason for that is because there's a movie called This Is the End. Let's go ahead and look at it in the past maybe month or so. Okay, it does pop up in that circumstance. So, yeah, because I remember I watched that movie. Okay, so then there's that, and let's see, what's another one? China, let's see. We'll look at some of his most popular videos, and we'll see if the popular videos that he's done are able to be seen through incognito mode. So, why I changed my opinion on China. So, why I changed my opinion on China. Okay, so this obviously comes up. Really is no surprise. And then let's try my opinion on China. Okay, it still comes up. What about China? What about opinion on China? It still comes up. How about opinion China? It still comes up very quickly. Let's look at just China by itself, and we're going to see how many videos he has that come up. And I'm going to scroll down, then I'm going to Control F so I can find any of his things here. But it has to load the ones that are prior. And I think that we've pretty much done enough, right? I feel like that would be okay. Okay, so his name is LAOWHY86. So Control 6, LAOWHY. Okay, no results found. And we're going to look at sabbatical just to see if that will actually search up. Okay, and you can see that if I search for another similar name, it would show up. So it does seem like he has been removed from any sort of directory search in regards to China. Because if you look here, there are a lot of videos that he's made about China that have millions of views and not a single one of them. How about China escape? Let me go ahead and search that. Okay, that's the first result that pops up as well. And also, it's the second result also. So it seems like the only thing that you can guarantee that he's been censored off of, potentially, is the only point of reference that you have certainty for is that when you search for just China, it's not shown for just China. Didn't he type just China, but not the specific video title? Kind of went silly there. He did. He did. And that's why I wanted to see. But so basically, in order to determine whether you're being censored, wouldn't you logically try other points of reference? Because if you were being censored, you would logically go and think, okay, well, am I being censored here? Am I being censored there? Where am I being censored? What is the extent of the censorship? So by searching additional terms and additional things, that would give you a better framework to decide that.
Should be populating these search results. Not only does pro CCP videos show up hundreds of times in these results, straight up propaganda, older CCP propaganda videos that are not even currently relevant anymore show up. China travel content shows up out the wazoo, but also...
Your algorithm also has him in it? No, I was using a different browser in an incognito tab that wasn't logged in. That's not true. And it's a browser that I never use YouTube on.
Videos with 0 views. YouTube says their algorithm in search is based on competition. Okay, YouTube.
I think that YouTube does have a recency bias with its videos, and I think that's very common. Like, how many of you guys get, like, you know, you get, like, your video, your homepage, and there's, like, 1 or 2 videos that are, like, random videos that have, like, 100 views, right? It's like, why did you put this here?
A devil's advocate. I'll believe you for a second, but are you really trying to tell me that I'm less relevant than videos about China with no views? 0 views. Before the election, I made a video with over 1 million views. Where's that in the search results? Where's my recent content? Certainly, my China content with hundreds of thousands of views is more relevant than videos about China with no views. I'll make this even
but it's, again, recency bias with this algorithm, clearly, because all of those videos are very new.
Scarier.
And basically, like, I'm not really saying that he's wrong, but what I'm saying is that in order to figure out, like, it's kind of like the perspective of the null hypothesis inside of the scientific method, is that you have to approach a topic and assume that what you're trying to approach is wrong, and then work backwards, is wrong, and do everything you can to prove it wrong. And so I feel like with all of those videos are all recent. So do we have a control group of older videos that are of the same date that also have relatively no views that are getting pushed at the same time? Because that would be a better comparison. Do you see kind of what my point is?
I told you that not only is YouTube not showing anti-CCP content, what if I told you they were promoting anti-America content?
I don't... that's a very big accusation. Okay.
Look at my buddy Serpent He's been doing really, really, really well on his channel.
All right.
Wait a minute, though. He wasn't until very recently. YouTube actually killed his channel at the exact same time that they killed mine.
This is actually a very strong point of reference, and I think actually this makes his point better than he did with his own videos, because these videos are critical of China, and so are these videos also being critical of China. Now, the only difference that I could draw here is that his videos were always critical of China, potentially, and so the audience, well, even that wouldn't make sense. I think actually this is a pretty strong argument. I can't think of something that immediately makes this wrong.
How did he manage to pull out of this horrible situation? Well, do you know how he did it? We came up with an experiment. we thought of something.
Oh no.
What if on the Serpent ZA channel, his channel,
no.
we made videos that were anti-CCP but looked like anti-America content? We unleashed
China's robots have shocked the world. America lost.
this experiment and were not too pleased with the results. When he made videos that looked like pro-China and anti-US content, the views went up 5 times. 5 times the views. In fact, exactly the amount of views that we lost after the election. And look, when you do a YouTube search for China, only his anti-America looking content comes up in the search, not his anti-CCP content.
Let's go ahead and let's look at this on one of my videos. And I'm going to pull up my own YouTube channel and I'm going to look at a video. What do you guys think that I have as a pro-China video? Well, let me think about this. And like a Asmongold China. Okay, so maybe this one right here. I'm thinking about it. The monkey video? Well, I feel like this one would probably be pretty good, right? How the Chinese see the US. And so what I'm going to look at and I'm going to compare it to is I'm going to see if this video right here is something that, I've got to do this off screen. I don't want people to see any of like my internal YouTube stuff. Give me a second. And I'm going to pull up the algorithm for this, and we're going to look at the analytics for this video. And so analytics, and then reach. Okay. So the thing that I was checking for right here was to see, and this is the analytics for that video, as you can see right here. I was curious to see if maybe there was a huge contingency of Chinese users, but also it could be Chinese users using VPNs. I really don't know. 4% Hong Kong? Yeah, well, that's what would make sense, right? No YouTube in China? Yeah. So, like, you wouldn't really be able to see that. Let me see, click on see more. China says 3%, right? So, like, I don't know how they calculate that. So, well, the reason why I was wondering about that and I was curious was that if it's in fact something that, is it possible that it is simply that Chinese viewers have chosen to stop watching his content because they don't like it, right? That's really what my point was. Okay, give me 1 second. I am a fucking idiot, and I literally deleted the channel that we were looking at. I literally deleted it. Give me a minute. What was it called? China, just China Escape. Yeah, I closed the fucking window like an idiot. Okay, give me a minute. Let me get back to it. We have another tab that has a million other things on it, so it's okay. Okay. There we go. Apologies.
P content. In fact, anti-America, pro-China government channels are absolutely cleaning up right now across the board. So I want to ask you, YouTube, are you being honest? 2 of the biggest YouTubers with China as the topic of their content and only anti-USA videos show up on search results with hundreds of other pro-CCP videos? Are you being truthful here? Is that
Let me see if I get pro-CCP videos in mine. China. Chinese spy balloon contents revealed? No. China-Taiwan war? No. The world won't believe China looks like this. This is positive. This is also positive, I would say. Downplaying China threats. I think this is negative. Shanghai, largest, richest city in China. I think this is, again, it's pretty popular. I feel like it's a little bit back and forth, right? America can't compete with China infrastructure. The world can't compete with China infrastructure. China infrastructure, China infrastructure. Things you can do in China that you can't do in America. There are a lot of very positive China videos here. There are.
Organic? In fact, we spoke to China Uncensored, another anti-CCP channel, and they suffered in a very similar way to us. There is absolutely, positively something going wrong. Did some Silicon Valley tech
I am not convinced. I think that there's a lot of evidence, but I don't think that the evidence comes together to the sum of being proof. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I think that's what's going on the most.
Pros make a deal with China and pull the strings in the background? Is something happening at Google? Was there a political calculation made? We know that China is throwing billions of dollars at search engine optimization and pro-China, pro-CCP content. But that doesn't explain why I cannot compete in search results with videos with no views. Dear YouTube, take the gag order off my channel, off Serpent off anyone that criticizes the CCP, and stop helping them. You're helping the Chinese government straight up attack Americans with propaganda from China and stifling the much needed critical voices that speak the truth against the Chinese government. Also, stop promoting anti-America content while hiding the negative content about China. Let's even the playing field, okay? Since China has unleashed utter warfare against the US, content creators that are critical of the Chinese government have noticed something really horrible. And I think this started with this TikTok ban drama. This caused a tidal wave of Americans to be pushed into other Chinese apps that are being sanitized, censored, and fully controlled by the Chinese government, like Red Note or Xiaohongshu. And this was followed up by China's dumping and promotion of DeepSeek AI, which upended the US economy for a short time, not to mention China hacking our treasury, our citizens, and our American infrastructure with the intent to destroy it and destroy us. China has shown its true colors, and it's time for tech companies, government, and people to do something about this.
I think that you cannot ever beat... I think that if you have to resort to censoring and suppressing voices in order to beat the propaganda from China, you've already lost because you've become China. I think the reality is that the solution to this is to talk about these things more openly and to promote creators that are talking about it in a way that you think is authentic. Sorry, but if someone knows stuff about China, it's those guys? Well, I don't know, though. Isn't this guy getting censored? It's very hard to say. Like, I don't know whether he's being censored or not. It's a luxury belief. I think that in the long term, that's... Well, like, I mean... Well, let's finish the video. It's almost over, then we can talk about it. That's a naive way of dealing with communists? Then why did it work?
In this unfair downturn, please consider sharing this or watching some of my other videos in support. But the best way to support me is to join Patreon at patreon.com/advpodcasts. You're not just going to support me there. I actually have a secret show with Winston over on Serpent ZA called Shaban Ho, which actually means after work. It's a secret show that you can only see if you sign up there. And it's probably the most fun and impactful thing that me and Winston do together. Don't forget to check out our podcast, The China Show, where we cover all of the news and current events that are happening in China every single week. Make sure you follow us over there as well. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one.
I don't think that I completely agree with him. I think that he brings up some good points. I'll link you guys the video, etc. But that's the way that I feel about it. This is really weird. Never mind. Okay. Because I saw that the video was uploaded 7 hours ago, and this was 21 hours ago. But the upload date is the date that it was made public, and he probably could have made it public later on, and this tweet was there. Okay, yeah, it was unlisted. Yeah, exactly, right? Okay, there's the video right there. Zach is sponsored by the CCP. No. Every time that you hear something that you vaguely disagree with, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm being paid by a secondary government in order to disagree with you. I know this must be a surprise for a lot of you guys, but that is the truth. But anyway, so at the Chinese, I've been watching him for years. He has a Chinese wife and a baby with her. He also did a road trip with his friend, and he mentioned in a video around the entire Chinese country. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to go and look and see for myself. But it's very hard for me to accept that YouTube is censoring anti-China content, because I've made a lot of content that's been both pro and anti-China. And I think that I've received relatively the same degree of feedback from it in both cases. So that's hard to believe. It is. It's hard for me to believe, because this is a very big accusation to make, that YouTube has been infiltrated by agents of the CCP, and they are actively working to suppress YouTube videos that are critical of people that are critical of the Chinese government. This is a very big accusation to make. And I'm not saying that it isn't true, but what I'm saying is that with an extraordinary accusation, I need extraordinary evidence.